The stadium was buzzing with energy. That night, the Phillies were facing the Marlins, and every pitch set off a wave of cheers. In the stands, the atmosphere was electric. Among the fans sat a father and his son, Lincoln, celebrating the boy's birthday. Their dream was simple: to go home with a game ball, that one unforgettable souvenir that could turn an ordinary night into a lifelong memory. When Harrison Bader stepped up to the plate, the tension rose. He swung hard, and the ball soared high into the air, heading straight for the stands. The father immediately realized he had a chance. He moved a few steps, dropped down 2 rows, and saw it bounce between 2 armrests. Leaning in, he reached out and grabbed it. Without a second of hesitation, he raised the ball and placed it into his son's glove. Lincoln couldn't believe it. His childhood dream had come true, right on his birthday. But only moments later, the mood shifted. A woman stormed up, furious, and confronted the father. She shouted, "That's my ball! You stole it from me!" Her tone was aggressive, her gestures sharp and threatening. The man, caught off guard, instinctively stepped back. Lincoln clutched his glove tightly, already uneasy about what was unfolding. Around them, spectators began to turn their heads. Some whispered, others rolled their eyes. The woman kept insisting, claiming the ball came from her row and that it belonged to her. Her voice cut through the noise of the stadium, drawing more and more attention. The father stayed calm, even as the moment grew heavier. He was there for his son and refused to turn this birthday celebration into a shouting match. After a brief pause, he made a choice to defuse the situation. He handed her the ball. Lincoln dropped his eyes. In an instant, the joy was gone. His treasure had slipped away as quickly as it had come. The crowd around them reacted with outrage. Boos echoed through the stands. Voices hurled insults at the woman. One word, sharp and disdainful, began to repeat, "Karen." What was supposed to be a moment of celebration had turned into a scene of public tension, witnessed by hundreds. And soon, it wouldn't just stay within the stadium walls. In just seconds, the scene spiraled out of control. Phones went up, cameras rolled. Almost instantly, the altercation went viral. On TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, clips multiplied. People added slow-motion replays, zoomed in on the woman's shouting, even overlaid horror movie soundtracks. She was mocked, caricatured, and quickly branded the Phillies Karen. But amid the wave of ridicule, one detail changed everything. Lincoln's face, the sadness in his eyes, the emptiness of his glove. Those images struck harder than the woman's tantrum. What could have been dismissed as comic relief became a scandal. People weren't just laughing at her anymore. They were outraged for him. In the stands, the atmosphere flipped. Shocked spectators decided to step in. 2 fans approached Lincoln and handed him a game ball, just to make sure he wouldn't leave empty-handed. A modest gesture, but enough to ease his heartbreak. The crowd applauded. Solidarity began to replace anger. Then the Marlins staff got involved. An employee appeared with a bag full of souvenirs, a t-shirt, a bobblehead, some team merchandise, and most importantly, another ball. Lincoln's smile returned, though his heart still longed for the one he'd lost. But the story didn't end there. Behind the scenes, the Phillies learned what had happened. They knew the video was already spreading online, and they wanted to make things right. So, they went big. Minutes later, Lincoln was invited to meet Harrison Bader, the very player who had hit the home run. Bader handed him a signed bat. The boy was stunned. His birthday had turned into something beyond anything he could have imagined. What started as a spoiled evening transformed into an extraordinary memory. In the stands, fans realized they were witnessing something much bigger than a game, a live lesson in solidarity. Meanwhile, the woman sat with her ball, But what she thought was a prize had already become a symbol of shame. As Lincoln's smile returned, she was left alone with her so-called trophy. What should have been a token of pride was now a burden. Online, people were already calling it a cursed ball, tarnished by bad faith. Memes exploded. Some painted her as a grotesque cartoon. Others placed her into horror movie edits. Within hours, her anonymity was gone. She became Phillies Karen, a toxic celebrity nobody wanted. And soon another problem emerged: identity. Online sleuths thought they recognized her as a woman named Cheryl Richardson Wagner. Her name spread, her photos were shared, her reputation dragged through the mud. But days later, an official statement confirmed it was a mistake. Cheryl had nothing to do with the incident. She was just another victim of the viral machine, proof that the internet doesn't just ridicule, it can crush the innocent. As for the real Karen, she remained unidentified. Her name, her face, still a mystery. But it no longer mattered. Public opinion had already chosen sides. Between an aggressive adult and a disappointed child, sympathy naturally leaned toward the boy. The story gained even more traction because it came right after another controversy. Just days earlier, at the U.S. Open, a wealthy Polish CEO had snatched a souvenir cap meant for a child. That incident had also been caught on camera, sparking global outrage. Two different events, two different sports, but the same takeaway. Some adults cannot stand to see kids at the center of special moments. The comparisons flooded in. On social media, people talked about the Hall of Shame of fans. Videos placed the Phillies Karen and the U.S. Open CEO side by side, symbols of a broader problem: the loss of sportsmanship to selfishness. Even traditional media picked up the story, proof that it had grown far beyond the usual sports circles. But beyond the memes and headlines, the human side remained most important. The father, right in the middle of the storm, chose to give in, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. He showed his son that strength isn't found in conflict, but in self-control. And Lincoln, despite his initial disappointment, walked away with a memory he would never forget. In the end, the woman kept a ball, but lost her dignity. Lincoln didn't keep the souvenir he had wished for, but he gained something far greater: a signed bat, the solidarity of strangers, and a life lesson no stadium could ever script. Maybe that's the true morale of this story. In sports arenas, kids should always be at the heart of the magic. Adults who try to rob them of those moments usually earn nothing but booze and a toxic kind of fame. The real memories belong to those who choose dignity and respect. And as the videos continue to circulate, as people still try to put a name to the Phillies Karen, one truth remains: this moment will not be forgotten. Not because a woman shouted louder than everyone else, but because a child found in the middle of chaos something far more meaningful than a ball.